Money in the Bank 2025 review. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, the landscape has kind of shifted for WWE, and we got a return. Might not have been the one we thought we were going to get, but it was awesome.
We got a bunch of shenanigans here at Money in the Bank. Let's get right into it. We do want to thank everybody who stopped by the live stream. Thank you all for making Money in the Bank so much fun. Make sure to check out our live streams, youtube.com/@CODWrestlePod. But we started with the women's Money in the Bank, which on paper looked like it was going to be a banger. And guess what it was? An absolute banger. We had Naomi, we had Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Julia, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, who was working triple shift at that point. Within 24 hours, she had competed on SmackDown and on Worlds Collide, and now on Money in the Bank. So she was putting in the absolute work here. But, you know, when we talk about a Money in the Bank match during a review, hard to do it justice, right? I can't walk through every single thing that freaking happened. If you can, go check it out on a highlight reel or something. But we'll hit the main points here. Sort of the main points. Roxanne, Julia, they kind of reformed into a team again throughout the match. They were beating up on everybody. There was a spot where they teamed up and like planted Alexa ribcage first onto a ladder, which looked tough. So they were working together throughout all of it. You had Rhea Ripley, who was manhandling everybody to the point where Roxanne and Julia decided to at one point just bury her in ladders. They just took her to the outside and threw like 10 ladders on her. Why wouldn't you?
I do always enjoy like the giant coming from the like rubble of, you know, from the dirt, from the ashes, and just, I like that.
Yeah, eventually she did Hulk up through it all and get through the ladder and stuff. But they, for the most of the match or during like the prime of the match, there was a spot where they had the ladder set up in the middle of the ring, cattywampus, you know, and then you had two ladders bridging to the center ladder, which led to some cool spots here. So there was a spot where Stephanie Vaquer got her devil's kiss onto Rhea Ripley on top of a ladder. And then while Roxanne and Julia, I don't know who did it. Roxanne on one side and Alexa on the other side, they got like dueling pop rocks to two people on the outside ladders, which is absolutely crazy. So you just had so many great spots throughout the match. It's a Money in the Bank match. It is awesome. But eventually, we get to the point where Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss are in the ring. And they got the ladder set up in the middle of the ring, and they start climbing. Who shows up? It is Naomi. Naomi pops up. She pushes the ladder. They fall into another ladder. Naomi climbs to the top, and she gets the briefcase. Naomi wins the women's Money in the Bank. It was the right choice. It was the obvious choice. And now we get to witness the proceed with caution briefcase. Hopefully, this was the perfect choice. I'm popping all of it.
Yeah, this was the absolute perfect choice. And even after, when you have Big E putting her over, she's there on the panel. She tries to stay in character, but you can really tell how much this kind of means to her, as it should. You know, she's had a long career, and she's doing the best work of her career, and everybody's excited for her. Crowd's even chanting for her there, and she tells everybody to shut up. I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. Right choice here, as you said. The match itself on paper, like you said, was maybe the most stacked, or, you know, going into it, we're like, this could be the best one ever. I would say it wasn't as good as last year's, but it was still fun. It was still enjoyable. You got to see some of the new stars on the main roster from NXT if you haven't already. You got to see Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss kind of have a stare down at points. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I kind of want some of that. I don't know where Alexa Bliss's next feud comes from or who that may be, but it just kind of shows like, hey, we need her in something meaningful here.
Oh, yeah.
And you just kind of look at everybody and you're like, yeah, everybody looks good coming out of it. Like I said, it didn't really hit the expectations I think we all probably set for it, but it was still fun. And you had the right winner at the end of the day. So it was a good way to start off the show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything more to add to it. It's just the right decision. They didn't overthink it. They kind of set up a lot of cool routes that you want to go through this. You had Julia and Rhea kind of stare down at each other a couple times, which has been, you know, they've alluded to that on Raw a little bit over the last couple months. You had Steph and Rhea not only helping each other throughout the match, but also fighting each other throughout the match. And now that Steph's on Raw, it's like, okay, yes, give me that right away. And of course, like what you said about Alexa, she could just dip her toe into anything and everybody's going to be like, hell yeah on that. Roxanne looks to be like the absolute women's workhorse that you want. Like she was taking bumps the entire match. She was doing amazing work there. So just everybody kind of comes out of this looking strong And we just have so many awesome routes to go with all these women. And then, of course, Naomi winning it. It's just like, hell yeah, she was the favorite. We all wanted it for a reason. She's been surrounding the Tiffany scene for a while. She's been dealing with Jade. She has Naomi, or she has Bianca, obviously. That stuff is all there. Now she has the Money in the Bank briefcase to muddy the water even more. So you have so many of the top stars on SmackDown that are now surrounding the Money in the Bank briefcase, who's being held by Naomi. So it's just like our story options here coming out of Money in the Bank are just endless at this point. And now it's with the right woman too. So it's just like thumbs up all the way around for me.
Yeah, it is endless. And then especially the news you find out later, the women's Queen of the Ring, men's King of the Ring stuff. And then you look even farther, a little bit down the line, you've got Evolution as well. So there's multiple points where like, even if they haven't touched on anything, it is still really endless. And Naomi has that kind of like lurking in the shadows thing. I wouldn't be surprised if she's lurking on the shadows on Monday on Raw.
That'd be awesome.
Anytime, anywhere sort of thing. Even if there's no hint at it, just kind of like how her and Shinsuke have both been kind of like hiding. I could see it.
Yeah, honestly, what this match made me think of the most is like, man, a draft would be awesome. Just mix up everybody right now, all these women, and just like, let's have some fun with it. But yeah, Naomi won. Right decision. To move on, though, we did have an Intercontinental title match that was added to the card hours prior to the match happening on Worlds Collide. Dom comes out, starts smack talking all the luchas, and then Octagon Jr. wants his match against Dom, and Dom's like, well, okay, I'll even put the IC title on the line because he's a gracious champion and is going to defend it whenever he can. And he comes out with Liv. This match was sort of kind of a throwaway of the card. It was a nice, quick match. You got a lot of Octagon Jr. coming out, getting his stuff out. He was a corkscrew king. Dude was doing corkscrews from every corner on a dime out of nowhere. But eventually we do lead to Liv getting involved. She distracts Octagon Jr. That leads to a Dom 619, a splash, a good old Dom win, a celebration. I'm not going to complain about it. We all have been saying that we need more dirty Dom in the ring. We want to see him defend that title. We got Dom in the ring defending the title on a PLE. I'll pop it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Even though it is kind of the throwaway of the card, you get your 5 matches. So everybody that was like, we need one more match, here you go. I kind of like the unpredictability of that. Like when he was at Worlds Collide and he's like, you know what, I'll see you at Money in the Bank. I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm excited now. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, I could see Dom kind of doing some stuff with the Luchadors, with AAA, kind of bouncing back and forth a little bit. Ultimately, maybe ending with him versus like Penta potentially, because obviously they're not going to have that IC title lose to somebody from AAA.
Yeah.
So just kind of get the exposure, have him kind of bounce back and forth would be awesome. Also, shout out Mr. Iguana.
Oh, yeah.
You have to shout him out.
Yeah.
Star of the weekend, really.
Oh, yeah.
Star of yesterday.
Money in the Bank 2026 favorite, right?
Yeah, I mean, might as well. You already have the memes of like the iguana taking
from the briefcase.
I mean, you got to take that. So it was really cool. The AAA Worlds Collide was awesome. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. And then they just kind of took that and put it here. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to add. I like seeing Dom, Octagon, a AAA guy getting a chance on like an actual PLE from WWE, like just WWE specific. It's cool to see. Never thought I would see it happen, and now we're seeing it. It's cool. Forbidden doors are being opened little by little here in the WWE, which is nice to see. And then, the takeaway here is Liv and Dom are fine. We've been saying, the Roxanne being added to the Judgment Day weekly has clouded that up a little bit, so we didn't know where they're going with that. They look damn happy here. So there we go. We get to go to Raw. Dom's happy defending. Liv's happy. See what happens next, I guess. Then we'd have the Women's Intercontinental title match. Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria. This one slapped. This one was absolutely great, man. These two have all the chemistry in the freaking world on the mic, in the ring. It don't matter. Stipulations, of course, being winner has good things happen to him. So if Lyra Valkyria wins, Becky can never challenge for the IC title again while Lyra's holding it. And if Lyra loses, she's got to raise Becky Lynch's hand. Rumors were always circulating. Fantasy booking was circulating about a Bayley return. What happens next? Well, they put on a banger match. This whole thing was just technical wrestling from Becky and Lyra doing great stuff. Lyra came out of the gate swinging. She was pissed off. She's lost her nerve with Becky Lynch. That was a good story. Later on in the match, when things get tough, we do get Becky doing a top rope manhandle slam, super manhandle slam to Lyra. She kicks out. We roll to the outside of the ring where Becky gets another manhandle slam, and then she gets too greedy and tries to hurt Lyra even more. Then Lyra pops up, hits the Nightwing. We get a 9 count on that. We get all the way to 9. I thought Jessica Carr might count to 10 there. get a count out, no stipulations, no stakes. Who knows what would happen? We get back in the ring, though, and just like Backlash ended with these two just doing roll-up specials. They were looking like roly-polies. Just roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up. We get the same thing here. But this time, Becky eventually pulls the tights on Lyra during a roll-up. Jessica Carr doesn't see it. The ref, 1, 2, 3. Becky wins the match, obviously in a cheater heel fashion. And then she has to, or she's making Lyra get up to stick to her word. Lyra sticks to her word, raises her hand even though she hates it. Then Becky's like, no, you got to raise my hand to all 4 sides of the ring. And Lyra's like, you know what? Got to stick to my word. She does it. And then Becky asks Lyra, no. Now you have to put the strap around my waist. I want you to title me, crown me. And Lyra does it. She puts the title around Becky's waist and then just kills her. Slams her, picks her up, Nightwings her, walks out of the ring. So Becky Lynch does win the match, becomes Intercontinental Champion, but Lyra's not done. She ends up Nightwinging her. She's pissed off that Becky Lynch has to cheat to win. So it looks like we're continuing this great feud, and I'm popping all of it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it as well. You even had Lyra do a leg drop from the announce table onto Becky, who's draped across the barricade. Super cool stuff. Like you said, the first half was kind of like a technical masterclass because, like you said, they have all the chemistry in the world, and they're like, you know what? Let's just destroy each other. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm here for that. Yeah, these two can fight forever at this point. They can just have a never-ending feud, and I'm gonna be okay with it. We complained a little bit with like Rhea and Liv, like, man, this feud's been dragging on so long. You just give that amount of time to this, and I will enjoy it every time. Fantastic stuff. No Bayley return here.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to run this back one more time. Maybe a rubber match. Maybe that's a evolution thing. Maybe we get that there. But you can't find the words to say this. This is just that good. It's just that enjoyable. These two, like you said, their chemistry, fantastic stuff. Lyra looks like $1 million. Becky's really enjoying that heel role. It also gives some sort of character to Lyra. Like you can see the intensity, like at the end too, where she's just like, you know what? I'm sick of this crap. Like it's good stuff. So this feud is exceeding my expectations. I thought like, hey, this could be really good, but it's just blowing everything out of the water. You look back at the end of the year, maybe this is like a feud of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that good. I agree. Would I have liked a Bayley return? Sure. It would have been awesome. But am I mad that we get to now see this again, probably in a more, higher stakes fashion at a bigger event, right? No, I'm not mad at all. I think that what you do here, you naturally have to go to some big and better type of match type. You get an I Quit match, who knows type of Hell in a Sweat Cell, whatever, fantasy book, whatever type of match you want. But they got to have their blow off match in some huge fashion, right? It's going to be phenomenal. We're going to get more of these two coming out and cutting it up on the mic per every single week. And Lyra's doing phenomenal work. I'm with you. I like the character work that Lyra's doing in terms of like, yes, she's obviously the babyface, but she's honestly not going to put up with the crap either. Like Becky's going to go too far. And instead of just like doing the I'm super babyface, so I have to put my head down and deal with this type thing, she's like, nah, screw you. I'm just going to, lay you in the mat, be done with you. And we'll figure this out on Monday. We'll keep going. So I like that sort of character work from Lyra. So it's just like, give me more of this feud. I'm happy for it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like you said, a Hell in a Cell, a cage, an I Quit, Iron Woman. I mean, Iron Woman, something is going to be phenomenal. I would personally like to probably see the Iron Woman like a 30-minute one. Do that at like Evolution or some sort. Boom, sign me up.
Like I said, put it on the last hour of SmackDown.
Yeah, like
the last hour of SmackDown is rough anyway. It's just
we'll take them from Raw and just be like, you know what? They're moving to SmackDown.
It's
for that
too
night.
big for Monday night. It's got to happen on Friday night. Oh my God. Between this and the men's Money in the Bank, we do get what you said earlier. Night of Champions is happening. We are doing a King and Queen of the Ring tournament again. Winners will be crowned at Night of Champions. Winners get to go to SummerSlam to challenge for a title. So that'll be, we'll talk about that decision later on. We also are getting Nikki Bella on Monday, which is going to be phenomenal. Best news of the night, some would say.
I don't think anybody would say that.
Everybody's saying it.
I don't think one person is saying that, especially with the ending.
I'm saying it.
Well, you're wrong.
There's your one.
You're wrong.
I love it. We go to men's Money in the Bank though. Big one. Grande, Penta, Andrade, Seth, Solo, and L.
Oh, we're not doing the big news yet, are we? We're not skipping. We're skipping right over. They got a Fireball sponsored ladder.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that's part of this match.
That's big news right there.
Yeah, El Grande has asked, or Chad, good Chad, has asked American Made, who are all good friends with El Grande, to provide El Grande Americano with a Fireball ladder, which is a super duper tall ladder that's red that has Fireball whiskey logos all over it.
I mean, you had to talk about it. I had to bring it up.
I mean, it's gonna come into the match at some point here, so it's underneath the ring somewhere. We got Fireball. Anyway, this Money in the Bank match until Friday was kind of just like a what the hell Money in the Bank. Like, okay, it's gonna happen. Here we go. Friday Night SmackDown. We didn't do a review on it, but Friday Night SmackDown did a spectacular job at setting up this match. I mean, every story plot that happened throughout this match happened based off of one night of SmackDown that happened 24 hours prior to the event. So well done pulling that off, WWE, because you nailed it on that one.
Yeah, that's exactly what a go-home show needs to do. And you need to really kind of touch that stuff, and it made you excited for it.
Yeah, it did. And because of that, there was a ton of stuff in this match, a ton of nuanced story things. I'm going to try to touch all of them, but once again, having to cover a Money in the Bank match is hard to do. Go watch highlights and stuff of it if I don't do it justice. But we start the match off, and on Friday Night SmackDown, Seth had decided to try to kill everybody else who's in the match, who's in the Money in the Bank. So we get to the match, and Seth didn't think that one through because he starts the match, and everybody's like, you just tried to kill us last night, so we're going to go and destroy you.
Except El Grande.
Except El Grande. Gracias.
He's the smart one. He rolls out of the ring.
Well, there's two smart ones. Grande rolls out and Solo kicks back and is just laughing and enjoying every second of it. And then they all turn on Solo after they beat up Seth. And then Solo tries to start doing everybody's shtick. He does the Cero Miedo, trying to get Penta involved. And he tries to do the walk too. And he's doing the LA night. Solo put on phenomenal work this entire match. Dude was mimicking
MVP
everybody.
in the match.
MVP in the match.
As always.
It was absolutely crazy.
God, the character work from Solo is, if you weren't a fan last year, like he's just getting better and better with it. You got to be a fan.
We'll just point out some of the spots here because it's going to be hard. We had like a Mexican destroyer on the ladder from Penta to Andrade. There was one like a sunset flip from Andrade to somebody. It might have been Grande or somebody off the top of the ladder. That was absolutely insane. I mean, there were ladder spots left and right here. It was absolutely awesome.
Suplexed Seth onto the...
Yeah, it was like, Andrade sunset flipped somebody while Seth suplexed through the ladder on the other side. I mean, shit was going absolutely insane this entire time.
Grande got a massive cut on his back.
Yeah, Grande was split open because he grabbed the Fireball ladder later on. Fireball ladder, set it up. And it was so tall, people, it was almost touching the briefcase. They put it in the ring, and there was like a foot of room between the top of the ladder and the briefcase.
Yeah, I mean, later on in the match, I can't remember who it is. Somebody's I think it's Andrade. He goes to like headbutt, and he headbutts the briefcase because he's so high up.
And right after that, they had the Fireball ladder in the middle. Andrade's on the top, and then they had a ladder that was leaning against the post, one of the posts.
This one was Penta, yeah.
And Penta's
on the top.
Yeah, he's on the top. But LA Knight slingshots El Grande onto that ladder, which then falls onto the Fireball ladder. El Grande goes to the top, headbutts Penta with the metal in his mask. He falls off. Then LA Knight pops up and suplexes El Grande off the ladder. Things are going wild. This match was awesome.
Yeah, they set up that ladder on the outside very early on in the match. And you're like, well, it's up against the post. So slingshot into that. And then he's on the post, and then he rides that ladder to the other ladder. I mean, it worked out perfectly. I mean, could have not worked out, but it was awesome.
Eventually, here's where the big stuff happened. Seth Rollins is on the outside. He did have Paul Heyman come out with him. And at this point, all hell's broken loose. Everybody's down, and he says, send him out, send him out. And Paul Heyman whistles or something, does some hand gesture.
Got a button or something.
The Braun button. And here comes Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and they kill everybody. I mean, they just murder everybody.
They speared the hell out of El Grande.
Yeah, spear
Carlito-esque.
Yeah, I mean, Braun Breaker's going to break his neck doing that spear, by the way, where he like DDTs himself.
Yeah, that's what it is. He goes like this.
Yeah, he does. He was inverted. Anyway, when that happens, Solo Sikoa's like, well, I guess I'll call my boys out, which is awesome. And he brings out Bloodline 2.0, which is Fatu and JC Mateo. JC Mateo gets whooped up on by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker spears him through a barricade. But Fatu takes big Bronson Reed and pop-up Samoan drops him. Like a 350-pound man.
It wasn't just a pop-up. So it is like the most perfect pop up. Like there's height. I don't know how you do that.
It was incredible.
I don't know how you do that.
Anyway, he goes to the outside. And he's like, Solo's time to win it. So Fatu's like, let's do this thing. And he brings Solo in the ring. He even sets up the ladder for Solo. And Solo's starting to climb. And that's when Fatu's looking around. You know, he's keeping guard of the ladder. And then all of a sudden his head turns because the night prior on SmackDown, Solo called him stupid. He said, all gas, no brains. And Fatu heard it. And Fatu turns around, he grabs Solo's foot. And Solo, being the greatest character ever, like continues to climb. And he's like, why can't I reach that? And he looks down. He's
Something's wrong with my leg.
Yeah, he's like, he looks down. He's like, what the hell you hold my leg for? And that's when Fatu turns to Solo and says, I hate you. Pulls Solo down, throws him through a ladder on the outside.
Destroys him through that ladder.
Just destroys him. Jacob Fatu says, I hate you, and costs Solo the money in the bank. Woo! Let's talk about that first.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. God, it was kind of quick. Like in terms of the give, it's been building a while, but Jacob, has been this over face for such a long time. All it took was him being called stupid, like the one time basically to push him over. I know there's been other instances of Solo kind of putting Jacob down, but yeah, this was fantastic. I kind of wish it had its own kind of standalone moment on like a SmackDown or something. I don't want it to kind of get lost in the shuffle, but fantastic stuff. Solo is also starting to get really over as well, even though he's the heel. But Jacob is so great, and everybody loves Jacob, that this is perfect. I mean, this is the feud we wanted. This is what we thought we would get. And it couldn't come at a better time. You need something for Jacob to kind of do with the U.S. title. Maybe that's a SummerSlam, kind of build that out a little bit. Solo still has the heavy now with JC Mateo, so he's got that backup still. This is all just great stuff. We've been waiting for that for so long, and it finally happens. And it did hit. I mean, the pop was massive.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely incredible. We got the I hate you, which is what everybody was fantasy booking for months and months and months. For like, it's going to hit different when Fatu says, I hate you to Solo, which is absolutely great. Absolutely destroys him, puts him through the ladder. JC Mateo doesn't look as unbreakable as we thought because Braun Breaker was able to kind of get rid of him during this match. So it looks like Fatu is going to be, he's going to be able to 2v1 these guys almost. Or he's going to have to go through JC to get to Solo, but he's going to be able to do it, so I can't wait for it. I'm with you. Do I wish it kind of happened on a SmackDown, give it its own moment? Yes, but like him costing Solo here is so awesome. Him doing it is so worth it. I'm just looking forward to it. Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, book it. SummerSlam.
Yeah, we knew he would cost him. So we kind of already had known that was going to happen. I didn't know whether it was going to be maybe an accidental or like, hey, I'm just straight up doing it. So the straight up doing it was awesome. And the way that they had everybody out of the ring, just right in the center, it was really cool.
Then we move on though. And at this point, it was basically just those people. And it was Seth Rollins, LA Knight. And LA Knight's on the outside. Seth Rollins, he takes off into the ring on a new fireball ladder because they broke the fireball ladder.
Yeah, Bronson Reed broke the
They had an extra fireball ladder.
He threw it and it snapped on the little hinge thing. Yeah, I'm not a construction ladder guy.
It broke.
Yeah.
Seth starts to climb the ladder, but LA Knight, he gets there, and this dude was over the entire night. I mean, in LA, they were just chanting for LA Knight, and he was probably the favorite going into this match. And LA Knight comes in there, rips Seth Rollins off, and then he climbs, and Seth Rollins rips him off, but Seth throws him into the ladder, and then stomps him, climbs to the top. Seth Rollins has won the men's Money in the Bank as predicted. Him and his squad, the Vision, his faction, whatever they are, they look absolutely unstoppable now, and I love it. We're popping this whole match.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. How could you not? This was the better of the two Money in the Bank matches from the night. A lot of chaos in this one, a lot of cool spots. Had the most story coming from it as well, which is, like you said, going into it, we were like, well, this doesn't really have a whole lot. The SmackDown really set it up, and then it delivered. So a great 24 hours there. Yeah, you look at it from a couple of different ways here, I guess. So you can look at it. LA Knight, you said favorites, him and Seth, 1A, 1B sort of thing. LA Knight, I think we need to just come to terms that that's never really going to happen. I had picked LA going into this match thinking, hey, he could go over to Raw. He could have a fresh start sort of thing. Somebody that kind of desperately needs it because he's kind of just stuck in SmackDown mid-card land, I guess. So That's why I picked LA Knight. Thought that there was a real chance he had it. Once again, doesn't get the opportunity, doesn't get the job done here. You look at Seth Rollins, though, the faction. I mean, it makes sense. The faction has to sit here, and they have to look as strong as they do. Now that impending doom that he's talked about, the future, it's all running through this faction now as well. You even look at it, the stories that could branch off. I mean, Roman Reigns potentially returning. You've got Jay Gunther on Monday on Raw. Then you even look at Sami Zayn telling CM Punk, like, hey, you have to stop him from winning Money in the Bank if that didn't get the job done. So maybe there's a little bit of Sammy being mad at Punk, and maybe Sammy turns into the bad guy, like Karrion Kross is said. Like, there's so many different levels to it. And at the end of the day, the impending doom, like, who's going to stop this faction? I have no idea.
Yeah, I absolutely love it because lately it feels like factions are kind of dumbed down a little bit in WWE. Like, they do kind of have a strong presence for a little while, but eventually people get the best of them. The good guys beat them up a little bit. They get the best of them here and there, and then they kind of lose their steam. They don't feel as like doom as they should be. These guys aren't doing that. Like, they walked in, they got the job done for Seth Rollins, and at the end of the day, Seth himself kind of won the match. Like, Braun and Bronson helped, but at the very end sequence, it was just LA Knight, Seth Rollins, and Seth was able to pull it out. So Seth Rollins looks great. He doesn't look like a fake leader at all. He looks competent by his own right. And then you have the faction together with the Money in the Bank. Everybody tried to stop him. You couldn't do it. What the hell is going to happen to Jay on Monday now with his match against Gunther? Like you said, the Sammy Punk stuff, just kind of all of Raw now has this cloud of Seth and his faction with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And like, that's the interesting story that I wanted them to tell. And now that we got it, it feels like, damn, that's the right decision, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's, I don't know if I would say the right one. I mean, it's either him or LA. You know what I mean? So if you're upset that LA didn't win it, I could also understand that as well. It's kind of like, what are you going to do with this guy? So I see both sides of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, LA didn't get the win. Seth did. So now you got to look at it and be like, okay, here's what we get.
You know, I love Triple H. I do. I don't think he gets, I think he gets a bad rep. I think the IWC tears him down for a lot of no reasons here, but I did not like his post-game conference about LA Knight. He said, you know, third time wasn't the charm here tonight, but I feel like his rise is just getting started. And to me, that just feels like, damn, it's never going to happen. Because if this is just getting started with LA Knight, that's just wrong. That's not the right answer. Like, what just getting started was 2 years ago in the middle of Roman's bloodline story. And we had LA get pushed into that crown jewel match or whatever it was in Saudi, where we were all like, okay, well, he deserves to be in the title match because he's this guy right now, but Roman can't lose. So we kind of understood it. Now, feels like Money in the Bank would have been like a perfect time. Like, we've had 2 years of this LA Knight push going on with nothing to show.
Yeah, and you really kind of look at it, and I could say people might push back and say, well, Jay took him 15 years or whatever. You could say that. Also, LA Knight LA Knight's not a spring chicken here. He's a little bit on the older side. I know he's newer to WWE, but he is a little bit on the older side as you look at it. And realistically, Jay kind of had a reset, right? Like, he was in the tag team, and then he went on the solo side and did his own thing. So LA's been doing this for a while. He's been over. Like you said, the crowd was excited. The crowd was rooting for him. The pops for him when he would try to get up to the top of the ladder. So you look at it, I don't really know what they do with him, but in terms of the Money in the Bank, like the Seth Rollins impending doom with everybody else, like, that's probably the cooler story. If you take it with LA Knight and just to the Money in the Bank, you're like, okay, yeah, he gets a fresh start. He's kind of in that main event tier. But that's the only story you would really kind of get.
Yeah, he picked the wrong 4-letter word. He should have gone, he had half it. He had half it right. He's this close. I love LA Knight. Hopefully he gets better of it. We also got officially announced WrestleMania back in Vegas. They had a little video package. If it's so good, why not do it twice? I mean, we all know it's coming. I don't want to talk about it too long, but you know, I think some of the intrigue of WrestleMania is going to different places and getting the branding and, you know, all that. So it's a bit of a bummer in my opinion, but it'll be fun. It's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think we're going to be kind of looking to that in the future. I think it's going to be a lot of Vegas, a lot of potential Saudi shows as well. Like you said, the intrigue, the fun about WrestleMania, to me at least, is going to the different cities, seeing cities that maybe you wouldn't go to before, just kind of being around that area and sort of thing. It's going to be fine. Some of the fans that maybe didn't get to go last year will maybe get to go this year, so maybe that's a positive thing. But
Bring it to KC, Arrowhead. It's warm here in April.
Not
It's
until
just
they
as
get
warm-
that new. Not until they get that new stadium.
It's just as warm as freaking
Not until they get that new
MetLife Stadium.
Not until they get that dome.
Yeah, fair enough. Main event tag team match: John Cena, Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. Obviously on SmackDown, John and Logan stood tall, both held up the belts. John in that promo turned the "We Want Truth" chants against the crowd. It was absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
And this match started with John Cena and Cody Rhodes in the ring as people wanted. Cody did one shoulder tackle and Cena sprinted to the corner and tagged in Logan. So immediately we're doing the whole Cena knows that he beat Cody off of some bullshit, and he's kind of scared of him now that he's back. But then we had 10, 12 minutes of slow heel John Cena, heel Logan Paul, beating the hell out of Jey Uso. The story kind of here was, of course, John didn't want Cody in the ring, neither did Logan. And John and Logan were beating up on Jey Uso because obviously on Monday he's got a match against Gunther, and so he's going to be as beaten down as humanly possible going into that match. Eventually, though, a bunch of blind tags start happening between Logan and John. They're not meshing as we thought. Eventually, Logan Paul shoves John Cena. I'm Logan Paul. Cena's like, what the hell? I'm trying to teach you. Get back in that corner. They start arguing, and that leads to a Cody Rhodes hot tag.
Which I will say, I did like it when Jay's like in the middle and he's jumping, right? Cena goes, "Oh no!" Like, I really like that.
He's so over the top. Cody goes off, obviously. He destroys everybody. Eventually, we do get just some fun back and forth between everybody. We spill out to the outside of the ring, and John Cena wants to AA Cody Rhodes from one announce table to the next. But Jey Uso beats him to it, spears John Cena onto these new announce tables, which are made of bricks. They don't break, I guess.
Well,
until right after that, Jey Uso's laying there, and Logan Paul does a springboard moonsault from the ring and just clears it and nails Jey Uso on the announce table, breaking the announce table. So takes a spear and a moonsault at the very least. We would also get Logan Paul going to the ring, and he hits the pulverizer on Cody Rhodes, and then he goes, nah, I want to do one more thing. And during his entrances, he has this drone that he sends off and he catches in his hand, which is really cool. But he goes to the top rope and he catches this drone camera again. So he's holding the camera drone in his hand, and Cody Rhodes pops up to the top like he's freaking Braun Breaker, superplexes Logan Paul as he's holding the drone. So you can see it like in a first-person view, which is awesome. And then he's laying there dead, and then you just see Jey Uso out of nowhere splash Logan Paul. So they're dead. It's absolutely insane out here. At the end of it, so after the Logan Paul eventually hits that moonsault, that happens later. So then outside, the ref goes out there to check on Jey Uso because wrestling logic, I guess. And that leads Cody Rhodes and John
To be
Cena.
fair, maybe he didn't know who was legal because there was a point
Oh
in
my
the
God,
match.
nobody
There was
knew.
a point in the match. Nobody knows who's
Nobody knew who was legal this entire freaking match. when things went downhill, nobody knew who was legal. But
which was fine, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
You know?
John Cena's in the ring with the belt and Cody Rhodes, and we get a WrestleMania 41, deja vu moment. And John Cena goes and whacks Cody over the head with the belt. Nails him. Definitely thought Cody was going to reverse it, crossroads. No. Then all of a sudden the crowd starts going, wow, what the hell's happening? You see a man covered in full black. Must be a Bloodline member. Who knows? But he's dressed head to toe in black sweatpants, black sweatshirt, everything, a hood, mask, all of it. Spears John Cena, starts to wail on him, gets up, picks up the title, and then takes off his face mask. It's R-Truth. It's R-Truth. Bada bing, bada boom. He picks up the belt. He whacks John Cena over the head with it. And then he takes off. Cody Rhodes pops up, picks up John Cena. Crossroads John Cena. 1, 2, 3. R-Truth returns to cost John Cena at Money in the Bank. I'll say one thing. Whether it was a work or whether it was TKO listening to the crowd and bringing back a beloved member of the WWE roster, I was the happiest man alive. This was awesome. We're popping it.
Yeah, you gotta pop this. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of the online back and forth of, oh, well, you got worked or it's not a work, and they listen to us, and who knows, right? At the end of the day, I don't think we ever really truly will know. I want the conversation to kind of pivot back to like R-Truth is back. Ron Killings is back now. So you look at it and he has that look like he's maybe not the funny heel anymore or the funny star anymore. He's like a full on, like, I'm going to just destroy you, Ron Killings, which if you don't know about that, you need to look it up. The back and forth that you got worked or, TKO listened to us. That's the fun part, I think. I think that's the exciting part. Like you look at it and you're like in a time, a day and age where things kind of get out and spoilers kind of happen. And maybe, returns are going to happen before, or a lot of armchair booking, basically, right? Fantasy booking from a lot of fans. Nobody expected this to really happen. Nobody really thought this could happen. And it happens and the place explodes. And everybody is just so happy that he's back. And that's awesome. You might be looking at maybe that's a Night of Champions match. I mean, who knows? Who knows what this could be? It's kind of limitless with the options because truth does cost Cena and it doesn't really seem like he's kind of done. Like he's just not going to take that laying down. So who knows at this point? Just happy R-Truth's back. And then, Cody J get the win here in a fun match. A little slow at times, definitely a little bit dragging on for a while. Cena getting a lot of the offense. You're going to get a lot of the slower stuff, wearing Jay down. That's the story of Jay, right? On SmackDown even, they were like, are you 100%? I'm fine. So a little bit of a wounded warrior going into Raw on Monday against Gunther. But overall, especially with the return, I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter. If it was a work, I'm glad to be sitting here in 2025 in a wrestling promotion with all the social media is able to work me. Like, hell yeah. And if it's the other way around and TKO saw that, hell, we made a mistake and we cut somebody that this WWE universe really, really loves, let's go back and win him back and get him back into the ring. It's like, thank you. Of course, thank you. That means they're listening, especially in a day and age where TKO is getting flack from every angle. I'm not saying if it's deserved or not. If you have your opinion, you have your opinion. Go ahead and yell at whoever you want. But I'm saying that like WWE in the past 7 days since that cutting has really been getting pegged on the, they just, everybody's sending their worst at WWE. And so to see R-Truth pop up in such a big moment, and it feels big. It feels like this 1 week has turned R-Truth from a beloved WWE guy to like a kind of a low-key star again. Like he cost John Cena here, and it's like, okay, well, where do we go with R-Truth now? Is Ron Killings back to do more stuff with John Cena? It's like that feels big. So he not only does he return, he feels like he's on another level now. So it's just a win-win situation in my opinion. And it's just at the end of the day, we wanted truth, we got truth. Let's be happy about it. And I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the options are kind of endless with it. I don't know what's next. I'm not going to sit here and try to guess either because that's going to make me look stupid. Who knows? Maybe Monday he comes out. Maybe on Raw he comes out. Maybe you don't hear anything for a while. Maybe it's just I cost him and that's that sort of thing. So who really knows? But I mean, I kind of want to see it again. I kind of want Ron Killings to come back and be like a badass.
Why not?
I want to see it. So give that to me, I guess.
Piss all these people off that just no matter what the heel Cena tour does, they just hate on it. Piss them all off. Give us another one. Give us 3 months of John Cena, Ron Killings. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's just fun stuff.
One last thing, because we're already going over time here and whatever. The whole story was Jey Uso's getting worked. On SmackDown, he was tired. On Money in the Bank, John Cena, Logan Paul, they worked him down. Now he has a match against Gunther Monday night on Raw for the championship, and Seth freaking Rollins has the briefcase. Are we getting a Seth Rollins cash in at the end of Raw?
I think we get a Seth Rollins attempt. Now, I don't know if it's CM Punk. I don't know if it's Sami Zayn. I don't know if it's Roman Reigns. I don't know if it's all three. I think somebody's stopping Seth from cashing in. I also want to see Seth hold that briefcase a little bit longer. We had that cash in last year, night of, and I really like the idea of anytime, anywhere sort of thing. So I think Rollins tries to, doesn't get the cash in, and we get somebody costing him.
I think we get the cash in as well, or I think we get an attempt to cash in, like you said. I think he shows up. We didn't get Punk. We didn't get Roman at Money in the Bank. I'm still under the belief that we're going to get some Roman Reigns in our lives very soon. It's been rumored that June is the month that he returns for however many times that will be. And it's Raw on Netflix. We know how TKO is talking about Roman Reigns' money. I think we have Roman Reigns show up on Raw and stop Seth Rollins from cashing in on Jey Uso. We do yeet all the way home, but I'm looking forward to Monday Night Raw. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I think it kind of almost has to be because Jay and Gunther and WWE have built this Raw up for a reason. It being in Phoenix, they're like, Yeah, a month down the road, we're going to fight each other in Phoenix this specific day after Money in the Bank. You saw promo packages for it randomly throughout Money in the Bank as well. So it's a big time deal. You got to think Roman's returning. I would probably lean towards yes there. But like I said, there's also Sammy, CM Punk that's really kind of not solved yet, right? There might be at odds because Punk didn't make sure that Rollins didn't win it. So who knows? I mean, this coming out of this Money in the Bank, like I'm excited for both shows now.
I agree. No notes, in my opinion. I thought it was a very good Money in the Bank. People are going to be not happy about no returns, but that's all of us fantasy booking. You know, no one's saying that we're definitely going to get those returns. So when they don't happen, we can't be as pissed off as we think. But 10 pops to 0 drops from us. No notes. No notes.
Yeah. The only thing I think you could maybe drop is the Dom stuff because you kind of at the end of the day don't need it, but I enjoyed it. You got to see Dom.
One blatant drop is advertisements. Advertisements galore. Cash App on the Money in the Bank briefcase, the fireball ladder, the rings covered in.
If you're not used to it, you gotta get used.
The 7-Eleven bottom rope. I mean, it's one drop for advertisements. It's too damn much WWE. But make sure to stop by our live stream for this action-packed Raw coming up on youtube.com/@CODWrestlePod. We'd love to see you guys there. Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs. And then for everything else for the podcast, @CODWrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It has all of our links to everything you'd ever need from us. Go ahead and follow all of that stuff because we're confident that you guys are going to love our type of wrestling content. But until next time, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.